Next, some Rekieta law updates. I'm just gonna read these. He's been in chat arguing with people. Um, he made a super chat at Legal Mindset for $20. Rekieta Law for $20 says Andrew's criminal legal advice comes from a chimchi crackerjack box. He keeps one eye on the grift and he shoots as straight as his leg. By the way, I had been informed about what Legal Mindset does for a living. He was a property attorney in Florida, but he currently lives in Korea, and he runs a business that is just like expat, like waifu tourism. You contact his business and you say, "Look, I'm super in to Laotian girls. I gotta get some Laosasi right fucking now." And what he does is he, for the fee, will arrange for your visa and try to get you hooked up with like or in like a dating pool in that country of your choosing. So that's like his entire business model. So if you are really, really into Laotian girls, Legal Mindset has you hooked up. I feel like I have to shill for him a little bit because he gave me my affidavit. This is me advertising his waifu business is a part of. This is my thank you for. There was at least how many people are 3,400. There's at least one of you who is looking up legal mindset Korean waifussy right now, trying to figure out how to get into that. That's how the affiliate program works. He's just arguing with people. He's just being a dickhead. I don't even want to read these. Fuck him. I made an announcement saying, working on a new studio and revitalizing the show. Here's a new chat. This was already making typos. It sounds like he's fucked up. When the show comes back, there's going to be a new look and slightly different feel. I think you'll like it. I know most people want, but it'll become comfy over time. Planning the kickoff show and getting in a good place to speak about the world without speaking about my case should be very soon. Also, taking the opportunity to shift to a more daytime schedule, but I will still have stuff for my nighttime people. Hope to see you guys soon. Thank you for the sorry for the absence as I put a bunch of pieces back together. So he's setting up a new studio, which has left a lot of people wondering if he is separated from Kayla. And um, apparently his studio remodel is to like get rid of all the alcohol, and he wants to remove alcohol as a theme because I think so there's some confusion over this, and I'm trying to recall this to the best of my ability. Last time I spoke, I mentioned that he posted unconditional bail, but Kayla did not. That was a clerical error. They both posted unconditional bail, so he put out $10,000 for the bondsman's premium, but he is $90,000 in debt to the bondsman and to the court. So he has to obey the terms of his release. There are some conditions. I believe, if I remember correctly, that on his bond paper, um, he has to remain sober even if he had unconditional bond. So the other conditions of bond don't apply, which could involve no contact with April. It could involve having to move to a different place, having to do P tests for drugs. There are lots of conditions that they want to apply, but $50,000 gets rid of all that. However, I am pretty sure that the bond explicitly said he must remain sober, even if he had unconditional release. So that is always a condition. So he has to like change his studio. And I think it says he can't even possess it. So I think the bondsman had to literally come to his house and just completely wipe all the alcohol out of that room. All the bottles that he had stacked up are just gone. The PD is processing them. They're in evidence. They're being processed very thoroughly. The police are going to be taking care of all that alcohol that he had. Um, so he's trying to figure out what to do. And I imagine, like, I don't know what his financials is like. You know, there's all sorts of speculation that he's a trust fund baby. He has no money issues whatsoever. And then there's the side that he claims that he is very much self supported by his YouTube income. Um, so it's like, is he actually hurting for money? If so, is he like really facing this? Like, I've been doing the drunk hedonism thing for like a year now. Am I really going to be sober on stream? How do I do that? Like, it's in a really awkward position. It's like if you told me that I couldn't lazily show a browser and change my and use the same wallpaper for every stream, I'd be like, what the fuck am I gonna do? My life is in tatters. How am I gonna show the shit I'm talking about on screen? This is fucking over. It's so fucking over, chat. I would be at a complete and total loss. So Rekieta is in kind of a similar position. It's like, well, now that alcohol isn't a part of my stream anymore, what the fuck is my stream? um, so we'll see. His case. Oh, by the way, there's one other thing. We all laughed about Judge Fisher, the woman with the vagina alcohol, being his judge. He asked for a new judge, and so did Kayla. There are two interesting things about this. First of all, there's apparently in Minnesota law a rule that Hardin thought at first was just for civil cases, but actually applies to criminal cases as well. You can ask for a new judge, no questions asked, one time. So he saw that he had Judge Fisher and that he had shit talked Judge Fisher, and he asked for a recusal, and I think that's automatically granted. Because that's just how it works. No questions asked, one new judge replacement, which is new judge is worse for him? Really? Who's the new judge? What's the lore with that? That's news to me. He got rid of Judge Fisher through the Mulligan rule, but what? I didn't hear that the new judge is worse. A black woman. She like, okay, you don't want me? LaQuanda Chanel Durrell from Minneapolis she's gonna be driving 2 hours out here to preside over your case as a visiting judge, and she don't take no shit from no white boy. You want to get rid of Judge Fisher? Well, Shanique was coming, baby. Shanique was coming. She got her nails did. She got her hair and nails did just for you, Rekieta. Shit. That's funny. uh, Sorry, my mental image of this woman is probably much, much, much funnier than the reality, but I'm thinking like TSA agent from Atlanta, Georgia, is presiding over this here case. I bet you that the reality is probably not so funny. If it is funny, I'll laugh at it next stream too, because that's pretty great. Okay, so the other one was that he got to replace the judge. There was the other interesting thing where so Rekieta filed for the new judge, and Kayla filed for a new judge as well. But her filing was, even though they were identical filings in every way, except for the name and the signature, Kayla's filing was submitted pro se. So Rekieta was not her attorney, which means that he might have either freaked out or gotten dinged by the Bar Association for representing a co-defendant, which is, as I mentioned in the previous stream, probably a serious ethical violation. So the theory is that he realized how bad it was that he was representing his co-defendant in some capacity, and had her submit that filing pro se. And there is a gray area. I've asked about this before too. If a lawyer can ghostwrite a pro se litigant's defense. This has happened a couple times where like a pro se litigant gets into a legal battle with somebody that somebody else really hates that happens to be a lawyer. And instead of just representing that guy and involving himself in the case, he will ghostwrite all the case files for this to remain anonymous. And the guy just files these pro se, even though he has a lawyer drafting his arguments. It depends on the jurisdiction, but in most areas, it's actually a gray area where it's not expressly prohibited or permitted. And it may be possible, and this might be Rekieta's, fucking 10 million IQ move, is that he's just going to represent Kayla, but not officially represent her, and she's going to file all his ghostwritten motions as a pro se. So if he's doing that, that's crazy. I don't know. That might be even more of an ethical malaise than just representing her, Like, you're representing this woman who's your co-defendant, and that what you're doing is wrong because you aren't representing her officially, but you're still doing it and you're having her file it pro se. Like, that might be even worse. So we'll see. We will see. Sleepy Scarecrow 777 for 5 says, thankfully, Finster and his posse will eventually crash and burn Rekieta style. It might take years and years, but they will self-immolate, inshallah. That's one thing that people don't realize about me. And I don't think I've ever said this thought aloud, but you've prompted me, so I will say it. I think the main thing that people like Juju and like Rekieta and like Keffels and Liz Fong Jones don't understand is that when they start ranting and raving about the Kiwi farms and how we're evil, and they start pissing off users and like calling them like pedophiles and shit or whatever the fuck they say about the Kiwi farms, um, there's no time limit for me to get my comeuppance from them, and I am very very patient when it comes to waiting for somebody to fall apart. I have absolutely no sense of urgency when it comes to someone like Juju and Rekieta. I am willing to wait years to see people get what they deserve without me having to put in any input. And I think that's probably my most insidious character trait, where I have absolutely, I'm not in a hurry, I'm not in a rush. I ain't going nowhere, for I'm not going nowhere. I am very happy to wait 1, 2, 5 plus years in the case of some people, to see people get what they fucking deserve. And I always know it's coming. The most banned queen for one says, wait, so if this is what legal mindset does for a living, is Barnes possible on the right track? Well, I mean, that's what he's implying, that he's like a sex tourist guy. That's why he's called that. Though I don't want to get into Barnes because I have a bone to pick with him. Third World Aristocrat for one says, new Rekieta judge is Stephen Winsel, a white bald man, apparently tough on drugs. Current term expires January 2025. So I guess he's retiring mid-case? Or, I don't know. Yeah, that sucks for him. You only get one mulligan, too. You have to justify it the second time, and if this guy doesn't have any beef with Rekieta, he has no grounds for it. Grounds! And Third World Aristocrat for one says, because Nick Rekieta judge re-election year might be tougher on crime, is what users are saying. Okay, he's trying to get re-election. He might be really hard on Rekieta. Hey, lock him up. Lock him up. Lock him up. Lock that ass up. Show you're tough on crime. I saw that lawyer. He came in. He said, please, master, don't give me no hard penalty. I said, boy, I'm tough on crime. You want to get buck broken? And then I buck broke him. That's basically what he needs to do, I think. I ain't never had no lawyer for a buck before. I ain't never met no buck I couldn't break.